Okay, so what is my talk going to be about? It will be about skills, skills of effective teams. And what does it have to do with business analysis? I'm pretty sure that you are working with teams, you are working with customers. They are people, and communicating and working with people could be quite difficult. So I hope to provide you a little bit of help, support, maybe some kind of suggestion how to work with people to make it sure that your work is more effective. Okay, a little bit about me. I am working in software testing and business analysis field. I am chair of Polish testing board. By the way, I am also chair of ISTQB by accident, let's say. So I hope you will enjoy my presentation. Just to give you some overview how it is going to work, our plan is to have it in two parts, let's say, splitting by a short coffee break. You will work in pairs, so don't be shy. You will work together. And I will ask you to do some exercises to help you to practice your soft skills. Before we start, let me just share with you a short story. So imagine that you were asked to work in a team. You started a software project, and you can imagine what happened next. You started to establish a team, dream team, of course. We always have a dream team, so something like that. In practice, it appeared that, well, this is not really a dream team. So typical case. Everybody believed that we will work perfectly, but reality is a little bit different. So what happened actually? This team, my personal team, they were trying to do the best they could do. So they were trying to collaborate, to do teamwork. With this effect. You know this picture, also typical. So they were trying to communicate, among others, with different stakeholders. Like that. They were trying to, put yourself in the shoes of the customer, because, we are doing things for customers. Internal, external, it actually doesn't matter. Like that. Yeah. So what happened actually? What went wrong? The main problem was that the team was built in slightly difficult way. The team was built like something like that. So everybody focused only on tools, techniques, methods, BPMN, UML, things like that, technology. Yeah, that was the main focus. And the problem is that focusing on tools and techniques can kill creativity. Can also make you working without, let's say, spirit. You are focusing on methodological aspects, forgetting about one important fact, that we are humans, and we are working for humans. We are working with humans. So, what was missed? Actually, small thing called soft skills. Yeah. Tools technique will not help you if you cannot communicate with people. Sorry. So, what was missed? We missed something like problem solution focus. We forgot about what we are going to solve. We forgot about what are the target audience that we are going to work with. We forgot about the goal. We just focused on UMLs, techniques, tools, continuous integration, things like that. And we forgot the goal. We forgot the customer. We forgot ourselves. So, what could be the solution? Our solution is a kind of model developed by these 4 people. I'm here. Some of these people you perhaps know. Hans von Leeuwenhoek was here 1 week before on SQA Days. Oliver Denou is quite often on SQA Days and Analyst Days. And Bertrand, I will not spell it, sorry. He's from France, actually from Belgium, from the French area. And we develop a kind of model explaining, in our opinion, the most important soft skills that help the team to develop and work effectively. What we used, actually we didn't invent it, nothing new. We just used what's available. We used some, let's say, standardization scheme like IQBBA, IREP, etc. We used something like some practices taken from extreme programming. We used something that you probably know, Belbin role model. So we used what is available on the market to try to establish something that would be useful for team working. So our solution is something that is called 7 skills. It's nothing difficult. There are things that you probably know, like communicate, empathize, collaborate. So this is just a simply set of skills that you as a business analyst, as a people working in IT area should more or less know. So let's start now. Let's start from communication. And now I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the 7 skills, and I would like you to ask you to practice with me these skills. The first thing is communication. It's quite obvious, right? We are communicating all the time. We think we are communicating. Yeah. What's the problem with communication? The problem is, perhaps you know this model. The model says that I'm the sender, and I am sending some kind of message to you. You are a receiver. You are the target audience of the communicate. And I am sending message. And for example, I am thinking about tree. And I have in mind something like that. You know, 3 apples, something to eat, nice stuff. But you, as a receiver, you can see it in quite different way. This is your imagination of the thing that I just saw. Why? Because we have something like communication between it. We have the message can be interpreted in different way by you. So this model is showing basically that what I am saying, it's not the same that you understand. Because you have something in your mind, you have your experience, you have your mindset that can transform my words in quite different way. So let's complicate things. We have another models. We have Schramm's feedback loop, and it's working very simple. If I am saying something to you and you are decoding the message, I need to confirm, I need to get feedback to be sure that what you understand is what I supposed to say. Yeah? So it's nothing more like asking the question, did you understand what I'm saying? And this question is not enough, because for sure you will say, yes, of course I will understand. This is not the goal. The goal is to ask you what you understand, how you see what I just saw to you. So this is just basically about confirming that my message is understood in a similar way by you, by the target audience. And now, it's time to do a small exercise. I would like you to work in pairs. I would like you to create a group of, let's say, more or less 8, 10 participants. I think you can do it like one part, second part, third, fifth, the next part, something like that. And what I would like to ask you now, just create these teams. When you are going to create these teams, you need to create 2 subgroups. So each team will be separated into 2 subgroups. They are called like that. Don't worry too much about the names. You can easily call yourself team number 1, team number 2. So now time to organize you. Yeah? What I would like to do, I would need 1 person from the team to be, let's say, your representative. This person will be talking to me, okay? Because we will have another part of this exercise, and then I will need to talk with your representatives, not with all of you, because you are too many people. Okay, so now you have, let's say, 5 minutes to organize yourself. Yeah, that's time. Just prepare your representatives. You don't have to go to me right now. I will ask you. You look to be ready, right? Okay, so I forced the timeout. Okay, now I would like to ask each representative of the group to come here. Don't be shy, I don't bite for now. You don't have to or you must not hear what them. Okay? You are not listening. Okay, you can come back. Yeah, I know, it was strange. Yeah. Okay. Sorry for technical problems. Now your turn. You already get the message, very smart message, right? You remember this message. Perfect. Okay. Now, you need to explain what I just told you to the rest of your group. No wording. You can use sketches, you can use hieroglyphs if you want, but no talking. And you need to make sure that the second part of your group is actually understanding what I just told you. Good luck. You are the representative, so you can pick 2 or 3 people to help you to transfer this message to the rest of the group. Okay? You don't have paper? Make what? You can make picture, you can make everything what you want without explaining words. You need to take, for example, one person to share the message. This person will help you to explain this message to the rest of the group. Yeah? Yeah, so again, the representative of the group can take 1 or 2 persons to help him or her to share this smart communicate to the rest of the group. Your goal is to use this means, these tools, techniques, whatever you call it, to make sure that the rest of the team will understand you. You have 10 minutes, 9 minutes. Don't speak. You can use numbers, but my question would be, why do you need numbers to decode this message? That's okay. You can try. You can try. You were already successful.
So they do you understand what did I mean? This information was translated for them, and what should we do?
Now, for now,
Nothing.
leave it. For now, leave it. Yeah. The goal now was to make sure that you are able to transfer this message to them without talking. So for now, let's leave it. I will ask you how did you do it in a few moments. Who is finished? Let's say. Who is not finished? It looks like everybody are done, right? Okay. Now I need a volunteer explaining how he or she managed to translate this message to the team. So, who was first? What group finished first? I think you, right? Okay, so please come. What was the message? What was the message that you were asked to communicate?
In Russian? Red cat eating pizza.
I saw smart message.
I just use sketch for, and they just guessed.
Okay. So, if I can do a demo, they just draw something like a cat, something like a face eating pizza. Yeah, so that was their decoding method. Did anyone use another method to decode this message? No drawing? Some numbers maybe? You were playing with numbers, right? Okay.
We divided the message into words. We explained separate words by using a non-verbal method.
Something, I don't know how to call it in Russia, something like a show, when you are using guests and things like that to explain cat and so on. Okay, so they were using visualization, let's say. You?
Sorry, unfortunately I didn't know that we shouldn't spoil it, and I spoiled it. And what figure out, and we made a new decision and new task. It's a handshake, and when you are washing your hands, and we just draw it. Three phrases, verb, and two hands, and warm water.
Nice. What about you guys? You were playing with numbers.
You know all the memes about crazy Russians and so on. So, well, this is one of them, I think, more or less. You can see. This one is very simple. And yeah, as I said, Russians are the best.
Okay. I propose you to share your idea with the rest of the team. Maybe after the workshop or during the break, they won the show. Okay. So was it difficult? No, because the message was not maybe very sophisticated. Yeah. What you needed to what you needed to explain to share was the cat. How to communicate that you are talking about cat. You could just simulate meow or something like that, yeah? Or you could draw it, or you could use a meme or something like that. Eating is also quite easy to communicate, like guess or something. And pizza, draw a circle, divide the circle. Perhaps you can confuse it with a timer, but you know, eating timer is not very healthy. So perhaps this way you could solve the problem. So, it was not a rocket science, right? In IT projects, we are dealing in a little bit more difficult stuff than cats eating pizza. In IT projects, we need to use a little bit different tools and techniques to communicate different things. We need to use sometimes glossary to explain what I mean by cat. Because for me, cat is something that has a fur. But I'm pretty sure that you know about these cats without fur. They are ugly, but this is not about this. Yeah? But this is a cat too. Yeah? And this is a very simple expression. If we are talking about quite complex business like banking, insurance, telecommunication, whatever, there are more than one interpretation of the cat. Yeah? So this is what I was trying to show you, that the communication is not just telling words, because these words can be interpreted in a totally different way, having in mind that you can have in mind something different that I just told. Yeah? So that's the first thing, communication. The second one, empathize. You are not doing IT projects for yourself, normally. You are doing IT projects for someone else. And the problem is that we are not our users. Yeah? So perhaps you know the technique of persona. Who knows that? Persona? Too personally. Okay, nice. I mean, not nice, but we will just fix it. What is it persona about? Persona is a, let's say, fake character that represents a type of the target user. So for example, if we are doing a system supporting e-commerce, like shopping, we need to think who is the user. And we need to, let's say, imagine what is the typical type of the target user. Like that, you need to visualize the face. Why? Because if you are talking about users, you see no one. User is who? Everybody. And nobody. So you need to see a people behind this term users. People like them. Do you know Starbucks? Of course you know. Who are the target audience, customers of Starbucks? Hipsters. Okay, we have a persona, hipster. What is characteristic for hipster? Young people, okay? With money. Very important characteristic. Do nothing, okay? Pretending that they care about nothing, right? Okay, so more or less this is about hipster. And this is a part of definition of persona. Yeah, some, let's say, 30 or something like that, having money, proving that they care about going to Starbucks to see, to show others that, hey, guys, I'm in Starbucks, I'm cool. So more or less this is about persona. Defining persona, you also need to define some kind of background experience with using similar stuff, similar services, like they used to go to different coffee shops. Yeah? So they already know how to order coffee. They know how to drink coffee. You know, stupidity in case of coffee shop. But if we are talking about users of software systems, you can define someone like, why are you laughing? It's only about hipsters, nothing to laugh about. So we have our hipster who is using a software system. This hipster has no idea how to use any software system because he have only smartphone, for example, and his main activity on the smartphone is to make calls. I'm just talking to you. I'm trying to imagine a fictional character to define the persona. You need to imagine who is your target audience. And of course, there may be different personas in your target group. Yeah, because Starbucks audience are not only hipsters, sorry. Normal people are also coming here from time to time. Okay, so persona is the one is the one technique helping you to change your shoes. I am not IT person anymore, I'm hipster now. And I'm trying to imagine how the hipster on another persona is behaving like. And I'm trying to think about possible problems, challenges that this persona could have, not me. Because I'm IT person, I do not user anymore. That's one of the main challenges that we have in IT projects. We are trying to think like IT people. We are forgetting about the users. So try this technique, you will see how it's working. Another technique, empathy map. It is working like that. Empathy map, for example, example persona, like our dear hipster or whoever else. And you are thinking how this persona can think and feel in given situation. How this persona or what he can or she can see, smell in given context. What did she or he hear? What she say about this situation? Yeah? And what these things are very important. What are the pain? What are the gains of this persona in a given context? And now, I would like to ask you to do an exercise. Unfortunately, we need to apply workaround because you're supposed to have a printed description of the scenario, but the printing has some problems. So I need to just display this scenario to you. If you would be so kind to read it, I would just go through line by line and help you to understand the context. And for this context, you will be asked to provide the empathy map. So the context is basically charity. So charity organization, Example, the Red Cross get funding for their activities by donation from citizens. So they are taking money from citizens. Volunteers go around or invoice. Okay, so these are your challenges. And then finding coordinators is even more a challenge. A coordinator receives the boxes from the collectors, not always in time, opens them and collects the money. While box collectors derive much on their motivation from the outdoor contacts with people, coordinators mostly work on their own at home. Much of the work is dull and boring, counting coins, reporting yields, depositing the yields to the bank, at the bank. It takes a lot of time and sensitive and error-prone, but invisible and underestimated. They complain about the charges of the bank for depositing coins, and they have to follow strict procedures that prevent fraud, so there is always the problem of mutual trust. Another party involved in the management of charity organization, yet having another issues. They are completely dependent on their volunteers, but have little control over them. As said, there is no hierarchy, even if it looks like that. It's not easy to get all necessary information at the right place and to stimulate them to spend more time to increase donations. Fraud is always a danger, so procedures and inspections are necessary, but too much of it results in the picture of the people that need most. Also, they would like to have more information about the donation themselves. What are the differences between collectors? Are there times and locations that raise more money? Could they find new ways to reach people and increase income? So this is the context. You have several roles involved in the charity problem, and now you have the definition of the problem. Collecting money is your goal. Your goal is to take the money from citizens. Yeah? Cash is the problem, cash, the physical cash. Modern internet banking might offer a solution, but charity organizations feel that they cannot do without the box collectors because human contact is known to simulate generosity, especially if collectors operate in their own communities where they are known to the fellow citizens. Yeah, so it is not a solution to make a banner, please donate some money, here is the bank account. This is not the solution. We need a human factor. Okay. You already printed it? Perfect. Good. So I will write it, and then you will get the paper. Okay, perfect. So, idea. A group of large charity organizations have joined forces to innovate collecting by using of modern technology. They founded CHAR IT for All as a supporting organization. And this organization develops a system by which people can easily donate to a box collector by a smartphone application without using cash. Yeah, so you are solving now one of your challenges. People who install this app on their phones can then contribute in a quick and easy way when meeting a collector. So this is your context. And now, what I would like to ask you is to do this exercise and try to create something like this empathy map for. Remember that at the beginning, each team were divided into two subgroups. So one of the group can imagine that they are box collector or citizen now. The second group is charity manager or coordinator. So this is your task. The printed material, I can see we have now not many copies, unfortunately. I have only 5. So one for you. And now what? One for you maybe, and you need to share. One for you guys. One for you, and I have one more. Sorry. Okay. So, this is your task. Do you need me to show you again the empathy map? Okay, this one. So you are asked to fill this. Empathy map for citizen, for example. Empathy map for box collector. What they feel, how they pain, what are their problems, what are their the gains that they possibly can have from this new application. And now you are working in the teams. You have something like 10 minutes. I'm a little bit afraid that I will use 5 minutes of your coffee break, but don't worry, we will then extend the coffee break. Yeah? So you have time till 11:15. You are starting now. Please choose one role. So Daisy's choose box collector or citizen. Nancy's choose charity manager or coordinator. Don't do everything because we don't have time for it. Yeah, please choose. What's most convenient for you?
Либо координатор, либо руководитель организации производителя. Выберите какой-нибудь один персонаж, который вам удобнее в каждой подгруппе.
I'm showing the map again.
И опять на экране для вашего удобства карт.
My dear, are you more or less ready? No.
Готовы?
Just to remind you, you have a very nice motivation factor in the form of coffee.
Мотивации, а это кофе.
2 minutes. Okay, 2 minutes, and you are finishing your discussion. We are going to the break. After returning, you will present your ideas.
Вы уже расскажете мне о своих идеях.
Okay, time out. Now, please summarize your notes.
Пожалуйста, суммируйте.
We are going to the coffee break. Please come back in something like 10 minutes.
Возвращайтесь, пожалуйста.
You can continue your discussion during the break, but it's not recommended. And after the break, you will present me your findings. Yes, so I will ask one or two of you to to show the empathy map. So
Я попрошу показать
let's go for a break now.
эмпатии, карту сопереживания. Теперь идем на...
So if you can just take and give to other persons. So anybody can have own copy now. You can take it because we will use it. Ah. And now I know that people are still coming in, but is anyone ready to present the empathy map? Or explain at least the empathy map? What about you here, the first group? Would you like to try? Okay. What persona do you have? Coordinator.
Yes. So it is my first empathy map, so I'm not sure if it is correct, but we think that coordinator is mostly feel alone because he works at home. Yes. And also he is bored by his work because it is dull. He needs to count the coins, and it's not very fascinating. And also he thinks about how to motivate his volunteers to collect more money. And also he highly concerned about money fraud, I think, because of the procedure. Well, next, he hear excuses from the volunteers, and also they pass the complaints that they hear from people to him, so he just collects not only money, but excuses from people. His say and do is he tries to motivate his volunteers to earn more, to collect more. he counts the money and he follows the anti-fraud procedures to put money to the bank. He sees money, volunteers, and bank workers. His pain is responsibility because all the money came to him and he responsible to put them to the bank. His pain also the routine of his work and distrust that he have to handle between him and bank and volunteers. And his gain is only thing we can think of is his fulfillment. He thinks he do a great thing.
Perfect. We have the first empathy map. Who chose the citizen? You are citizens. Okay. Can you say something about the citizen?
About thinking and feeling. I am in a hurry. I think that is a lie. What I see, there are a lot of people around me, and collectors is coming to me. What I'm hearing, the collector asks me to give a money and describe a goal of charity. What I say, no, I don't have time, I'm in a hurry, I don't believe you, and my pain, I feel that I'm unsympathetic. And what I gain from this activity, I gain a sense of guilty.
Good. So this is more or less how the empathy map is working. Can you feel the, let's say, value of this exercise? By this exercise, you can change your shoes, at least a little bit. And working in a team, I would say, is even better, because when you are working in a team and thinking about how the citizen is working, how the box collector is working, you can share your common, let's say, understanding and different experiences. So this technique is very nice, and it's even more nice if you are using it when working in a team. So that's empathize. Let's go to the next part. Explore. Yeah, so you have the problem. Or maybe you don't have the problem, but you are facing with the problem. Yeah, and now you need to explore. Explore the problem. Explore the possibilities. What can you use? One technique: problem, goal, solution trinity. So you have a problem in your charity organization. Your problem is dealing with cash, with the trust, with the responsibility. So you have a problem and you have a goal. Your goal is to collecting the money. So how the technique is working? Negative present state. These all things about frustration, the need to count money, to carry these heavy boxes. Positive future state is your new perfect application that will help your users. And how are you going to move to the perfect future state? So this is basically how this technique is working, more or less. The next technique, perhaps you heard about this: why, who, what, when, where, how. This is a technique that you can use to explore your problem and possible options. Why is the problem appearing? Because coins are heavy, because you need to run through citizens, you need to ask, to beg for money. Who is involved? Your box collector, your citizens, these personas that you identified. What is the problem actually? So the problem definition. When it happens? When collecting the boxes, when counting the money, when transferring or putting the money to the bank. Where? In the street, in the home of the coordinator. And how are you going to solve this situation? Yeah? Here we have the solution, the sample application. So this is one of another techniques that is helping. Another technique, the goal tree. Perhaps you've seen or heard about this. The technique for more or less goal decomposition. You have some goals. To achieve some of these goals, you need to have two goals. So this is a decomposition that is type AND. Yeah? So to achieve this goal, you need to achieve this and this. to have application, for example, and have a smartphone. Otherwise, you are not able to run this application. Here you have a decomposition of or. So you can have either mobile application or website. But you know, in our case, website is quite tricky because I cannot see it like this volunteer running with a laptop. Could be a little bit not useful. So here is your main goal, and you are decomposing the goal. Like a sub-goals or subtask. If you know the technique of WBS, work breakdown structure, this is working exactly the same. Yeah? You are decomposing what you are, your goal into specific sub-goals required to meet this goal. Okay. Okay, let's go to another technique, collaborate. And here will be time for another exercise. Collaborate. Have you heard about Belbin team roles? Anyone? Very good. So, you are creating as a team, or you are working in a team. And it is very nice to know what kind of personalities, what kind of roles are represented by your team members. Why? Because knowing this, you are able to assign appropriate role in the team, and you more or less know what kind of tasks are proper for a given person, what are not. And now, I would like you to, now we have a lot of copies, I would like you to look at the, if you can handle it, to look at the paper. On this paper you have an explanation of the Belbin roles. You need to read it, and here is the text of the question. So inside your teams, you need to evaluate yourself, and you need to, let's say, accept what other people are thinking about you, what other people are thinking that your role in the team is. This exercise can have quite surprising effects because you, I believe, you are not knowing each other too well. So the evaluation of your role by your teammates would be a pure guess in some cases. But in any case, just read the role description, follow this exercise, and you will see how other people are seeing you. That is sometimes quite surprising that, for example, I think that I am such a good team player, that I am so good cooperator, but other people are telling me that, no, guy, you are introvert, you are not talking to us. Okay, so does anyone have this paper? Perfect. You are working in the team, in the original teams. Just read the description. Every person will need to evaluate another person like that, and then you are collecting anonymously the feedback. You have more or less 5 minutes for that. I will start counting when you read the explanation so that you have some time to practice. Okay, time out. Who is brave enough? No brave people here, okay. Who can share the experience? For sharing the experience and for facing the reality, what people are thinking about you versus what you think about you. What? You didn't discuss it. Okay. Okay, so maybe let's change it a little bit. I guess you already evaluated your teammates, right? Is the first part of the exercise done? Yes? Okay. Do we have someone who feels to be For example, coordinator. Is there anyone who thinks that his role in the team would be coordinator? No coordinators. Okay. Do we have someone that who perceives you have coordinator? Okay. You just need to decide who is the coordinator, right? Okay. Do you think that this perception is correct? Do you feel to be coordinator? Yeah? Okay. So here we have a coordinator, someone who is perceived to be a coordinator, and in reality he is also playing a role of kind of leader. Yeah. Okay. So if you look at these descriptions, and if you take some time to read it carefully, you will see that more or less these definitions, these descriptions map to a role in the team. If you have a team, you need to have someone who will coordinate the work of others. This role is called coordinator. If you have a role who is called specialist, specialists are very nice because they are, let's say, experts in given domain. The only problem with specialists is that sometimes they are very, well, focused on own solutions and own knowledge. They do not have the open, let's say, mind sometimes. Yeah. So this is the risk related with specialists. If you have someone who is completer finisher, do we have someone like that? Sometimes this is the most desirable role because this is someone who is perfectionist. But from the other point of view, this role is also quite annoying because sometimes you are just willing to finish job. And this person is still perfecting, you know, this is something to be done. This is something to be still done. So this is the weakness of this person. You have also another roles, and you can think about this in context of you and your teammates. How to use this technique, how to use these roles. You can just use your strange sides and, let's say, hide your weak points when working with a team. So the first thing to work efficiently is to know what kind of person I am. Me. Because too often we are trying to require things from others. And we are forgetting that to require something from others, first I need to do something. I need to give them something. Yeah? And this method can help you at least to understand what is your main personality type and what kind of role in the team is best suited for you. Okay, so let's go to the next thing. The next thing is ideate. Ideate is about more or less brainstorming. Do you know this technique? Yeah. How this technique is working? You have a given problem, topic, something, and you are trying to invent as many ideas, as many possible solutions as possible. The main idea behind it is quantity, not quality of the topics. Quality will be evaluated later, after the session of brainstorming. Here you can imagine all possible solution. You can just try to invent as many ideas for the solution as you want. Even if the ideas are a little bit wild, even if they are crazy, even if you think they are stupid, you need to say it. Because even the stupid idea can, let's say, make another people feeling or making something that will generate really perfect idea. So don't stop. Don't think that I will not say it because it's too stupid. Even if it's too stupid, it can just inspire your teammates. Yeah? So this is the idea behind brainstorming. Yeah? Another thing that you can, perhaps you have heard about this, is Ahkam razor. Basically, the idea behind it is when we have a problem and we are thinking about solution, we are trying to complicate things, which is wrong, because in normal cases, the simple solution is the best one. It's working in most cases. If you know Agile, perhaps you know the rule, keep it simple. Don't complicate things. And normally we are trying to complicate it. We have a simple problems like bug collecting, and we are trying to invade, you know, the whole system, the whole big solution, while your solution could be very easy thing. Maybe not even the application, maybe just changing the way of the working, maybe just change the procedure, responsibilities, something like that. So basically, keep it simple. How to organize it in a team? As said, we are IT people, and sometimes in our minds it is embedded that we are trying to complicate, to find a difficult solution, to find, you know, complex, technical, mature solutions. And sometimes this is not the right direction. Sometimes what you can do is to ask someone from the street what they think. And they sometimes will provide you very simple, too simple for you, solution that will actually help the user's problem. Okay, another example. Now when we all, I believe, have the description of our task, of our charity system, I would like you to play and try to brainstorm. Try to imagine how to improve the problem in every possible ways. Imagine that you have no limitation, you can do everything, you have, you know, no budget restriction, you have no time restriction, you can think about any possible solutions. So, 5 minutes for brainstorming session regarding the application to collecting money from citizens. Yeah? What could you do to make it beautiful, perfect? Okay, most of you look to be ready. So, now I would like you to share your ideas with me. What kind of improvements, what kind of ideas do you have?
First of all, if we have unlimited budget, then we will make it preloaded on smartphones. So we will make agreement with Google or maybe Apple. So any citizen can donate in any time. Next big improvement is making a map. Where you can find the collectors and organizations which them included. So you already will know that this collector is a real collector, not a fake, not a hobo with a box. After that, share the donate with friends. So if I donated to some charity organization, then I can share a link to this donate to some of my friends involved in this team, for example. And after them, functionality is when I make a donate, when I made the donate, then application gives me some best wish or some phrase, then hello, you will have a good day today. So something like a positive motivation.
Factor. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. What do you think? Hmm?
I think making this app preloaded is not very good technique. Not very good technique at all, because many people hate these kind of things. Something you can delete, something that exists on your operating system. And if this app would exist on my smartphone, I will think about this app and this company in not really a good way. This will discourage me to donate money.
I think that's more about imagination of this organization. So if, for example, Google will say that this is our application and many charity organizations use it, so you can delete it or you can stay it on your phone. So I think it can be an idea. Of course, you can make it not preloaded if you don't.
Yeah, my question is about preloading.
Yes, but you can make, for example, advertisement company from Google and Apple to, okay, we have the application, so load it, please. We recommend to load it to all users.
This is not brainstorming anymore. This is criticizing idea. Yeah? So this is the part after brainstorming. Okay, thank you very much. So you had some ideas. Here we have some opinions about the ideas. By the way, a nice technique that you actually started is called brainstorming paradox. We have an idea and you are trying to find all, let's say, negative points and risks related with the idea. So this is actually what should happen after the brainstorming session. So now you see more or less how the brainstorming is looking like. We have a list of ideas, perhaps stupid, perhaps not feasible, perhaps related with too big risks. In any case, we have a list of ideas. After the session, we will go through the list and we will evaluate what is feasible, what could be implemented, what should not be implemented. Because according to you, as far as I understand you, this kind of solution, preloading, could, let's say, impact the image of the organization, yeah, in the wrong way.
About brainstorming. As you have said, brainstorming is all about quantity, not about quality. So, as I understand, most often brainstorming consists of, research or maybe test team brainstorming some kind of subject. If we are talking about quantity and not quality, maybe it is a wise decision to add people from other departments, for example, sales department, tech support department, and so on. They do not understand product as good as research or test team, but they understand it from a very different angle of view.
Exactly, and that is why we call the model team working. Sales, other persons from other department will be the part of your team. And your role will be to connect these people, the stakeholder, to create the best effective team. Because I'm absolutely agree with you, our point of view, analyst point of view, or testing point of view will not be sufficient because we can come with totally impossible solutions. Maybe they would be technically possible to implement, but they will not work as a business value. Yeah? So I agree with you. Okay, let's come to the next point. We have still two techniques to discuss. Tell, the first one. Tell, and the first thing is something that is called storytelling. Have you heard about this technique? This is about telling story about your possible solution about the situation. It's based on the idea, don't tell, just show us. Yeah? How this technique is working, I will show you. I hope it will work.
Sometimes we're on a collision course, and we just don't know.
That's an example of storytelling.
Whether it's by accident or by design, there's not a thing we can do about it. A woman in Paris was on her way to go shopping, but she had forgotten her coat. Went back to get it. When she had gotten her coat, the phone had rung, so she had stopped to answer it and talked for a couple of minutes. While the woman was on the phone, Daisy was rehearsing for a performance at the Paris Opera House. And while she was rehearsing, the woman on the phone now had gone outside to get a taxi. Now a taxi driver had dropped off her fare earlier and had stopped to get a cup of coffee. And all the while Daisy was rehearsing. And this cab driver, who dropped off the earlier fare and had stopped to get the cup of coffee, had picked up the lady who was going shopping and had missed getting the earlier cab. The taxi had to stop for a man crossing the street who had left for work 5 minutes later than he normally did because he forgot to set his alarm. While that man, late for work, was crossing the street, Daisy had finished rehearsing and was taking a shower. And while Daisy was showering, the taxi was waiting outside a boutique for the woman to pick up a package, which hadn't been wrapped yet because the girl who was supposed to wrap it had broken up with her boyfriend the night before and forgot. When the package was wrapped, the woman, who was back in the cab, was blocked by a delivery truck, all the while Daisy was getting dressed. The delivery truck pulled away and the taxi was able to move, while Daisy, the last to be dressed, waited for one of her friends who had broken a shoelace. While the taxi was stopped, waiting for a traffic light, Daisy and her friend came out the back of the theater. And if only one thing had happened differently, if that shoelace hadn't broken, or that delivery truck had moved moments earlier, or that package had been wrapped and ready because the girl hadn't broken up with her boyfriend, or that man had set his alarm and got up 5 minutes earlier, or that taxi driver hadn't stopped for a cup of coffee, or that woman had remembered her coat and got to an earlier cab, Daisy and her friend would have crossed the street, and the taxi would have driven by.
Allô, la réception? Oui? Monsieur.
Sometimes we're on a collision course, and we just don't know it.
Have you seen it?
Whether it's by accident or by design,
That is actually
there's not a thing
storytelling.
we can...
You are not telling words about something, you are showing a story. In our case, in the charity organization, we could do something like that, create a movie showing the benefits of this application, the scenario of using the application. How and when are we going to use it? For example, if you need to explain your idea to business, to sponsors, to business users, they will not read your requirement specification, believe me, because they do not understand this form of communication. They will understand this. And that's why one of the techniques that you can use. Another one is storyboarding. Storyboarding is, let's say, more or less something like a kind of prototype, showing, again, a kind of story, a comic, let's say. It's not Mona Lisa, it's not Da Vinci, you know, it must not be very beautiful. It is just an idea of showing your story. Okay. Another thing that probably you are using is a prototyping of solutions. Yeah? This is all about the idea, don't tell us, show us how you are going to imagine to build the application. So that's about telling. We will need to skip this exercise because our discussions took too long. So I will move to the last part, to the selling part. Selling your idea, selling your product to sponsors, to users. And the first thing that you need to face is about food. It's about fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Your customers, your users are normally fear of change. And this is something that you need to face. You faced. Implementing, deploying application is one thing, but the most important challenge in many cases is face the fear against change, because people will need to change the way of working. You know, they will not feel too safe because you are changing their environment. They used to work in a specific way. Now you are going to change it. And that's the most important challenge in many cases. Another thing that, another technique that could be useful for you is something that is called elevator pitch. Is something that is, well, arise from the sales. It's basically based on the idea, this technique is working like that you are going to sell your product in a talk done in an elevator, and you have 1 minute for it. So this is something that you could use when explaining your great business idea to sponsors, to business, and you have very limited amount of time. How it's working? For your citizens who has some needs, your product, this application, is a market category like mobile application that will help you to manage the donators. Unlike competition, if you of course have competition, the product, and here is your unique business value. This is something that you should done in more or less 1 minute. If you are not able to do it, that probably means that you have no idea what is your product about, if you are not able to sell it. So first thing actually is to be able to be sure that you understand the value that your product is giving to your customers. After that, you are able to sell it to other people and explain the business value to other people. So, this is how the model is looking like. Your goal, your main goal of using this product, this model of 7 skills, is to make sure that you as a team are working together. You can use your strengths, you can use your weaknesses sometimes. in a way that you can provide a real business value to your customers. So that's all from my side. Thank you very much for your time. I think that I used too much of my time. Yeah. So thank you very much for active participation. And if we still have time for some comments. Okay, we have 5 minutes for questions. So if you would like to ask about something or discuss something, that's the proper time. I have some motivation factor. This is for t-shirt. Someone who will ask the best question or any question can get the t-shirt.
Actually, this question is not really about this presentation, but rather about your experience as someone who was working, I think, for quite a long time. Right now...
To be honest, I am not so old.
No offense. Right now, I'm a senior test engineer in my company. And I have chosen, at least I'm trying to choose to be test QA analyst. And I think and I hope it will be some kind of a step further to management and so on. What do you think? Can test analyst be a part of your career to management? Should it be or not?
It depends. It depends from your personality, from your skills. If you feel that you can communicate with people, you can work with people, if people, well, listen to you, if you can motivate people, why not? But for me, what is very important, if you are working as a specialist role, like tester or business analyst, and you have no management experience, that could be quite challenging, because too often I'm seeing people who are in the role of manager without any formal preparation and education. And to be serious, I'm not talking about certification like you need to go for Prince 2. No, I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about this, that specialist knowledge is not enough to manage people, to work with people. So what I would like to recommend, if you were not trained in any soft skills, perhaps it's a time to ask for this kind of training. Perhaps you don't need a training because you have your personal, let's say, qualities. You have the training every day in your company. You can use this experience. Why not? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. In Russia, you have to talk a lot. That's very good. That at least the communication skill training is already done. I would say you can try. What I would like to recommend you, don't be afraid to read books, articles to improve your skills. Because in IT, in our branch, in our business analyst or whoever, in IT in general, I think that we need to still learn, to continuous learning. Because if we will stop learning, it means that we are stopping at the same position that we are. So in reality, we are just moving forward. Okay, so that's all from my side.
Last question.
You mean the model, right?
Last question.
How do you like the possibility to get some of customer stakeholders or some persons from customers into the brainstorm process or into the process of development? Not only, hey, we did some things, check it please, but inside the process of brainstorming, for example.
How did I get the customer and people? I'm asking for this at the very beginning of the project. So at the beginning of the project, I'm explaining to the customer, to the stakeholders, what are my expectations, let's say, so that at the very beginning they know that I will ask for their presence, I will involve them. Yes. Yes, I am involving my customers and users only if possible in the whole process. So they are with me, they are a part of the team. Sometimes we do not even remember who is from which company. So the important thing is to ask and to make it clear that I will need their presence, because they will not know probably. Now we have questions, right?
Thank you.
Now, when the time is out and the next speaker is ready.
What question was the best?
Which question was the best? There is another question. Okay, so I think I will choose you. You were chosen, yes. And do we still have time for this last question?
You can ask question out of this.
Okay, so sorry, I'm still here. You can attack me in the break, in the coffee break. Now, Irina, your time. Thank you very much again.